It was just a quiet night on Station Thylos 4, one of the oldest listening posts on the edge of the Galactic Empire. The station was old, rusted, and forgotten. Even the officers posted there felt like they were in exile. Nothing exciting ever happened. For 20 years, the station had picked up only static, dust storms, and the occasional passing trade ship. But tonight, something was different. Operator Varn, a middle-aged man with tired eyes, sipped his cold tea and stared at the screen. At first, he thought the signal was a glitch. A small blinking dot had appeared on the far edge of the system map Sector 73Z. No active colonies existed there. No registered ships. No Empire bases. He leaned forward. The signal repeated dot beep. Pause. Beep beep. Long beep dot. It was a pattern. Not random. Not noise. A code. His fingers moved quickly on the console, pulling in data, zooming on the source. His hands trembled slightly. The energy behind the signal didn't match any known Imperial technology. Not warp, not cum beams, not even quantum bursts. Was older? No. It was beyond that. It was cleaner, sharper, as if it came from a machine that didn't even operate on the same principles the Empire knew. Commander Threx, Varn called over the intercom. You need to see this. Within minutes, the small command center was filled. 6 officers watched the screen as the signal played again, this time stronger. It wasn't just a blinking dot now. It carried a message dot. It wasn't in any known alien language. The translators failed instantly. Then the message shifted, and the screen displayed strange shapes. Blueprints? Equations? Technician Alera whispered, "This isn't alien. These numbers. This is human base 10 math." Silence filled the room. "Humans are extinct," Commander Threx said, voice cold. "Earth was burned 600 years ago. That war is history." "No," Varn said quietly. "This came from Sol, from Earth." Suddenly, everyone leaned forward. "Impossible," someone muttered. Commander Threx ordered full data backup and encryption. "We're reporting this to the Imperial Science Corps. Nobody speaks of this. Not a word." But by then, it was too late. The signal was growing stronger. It wasn't just passive now. It was scanning, listening, watching. And then it stopped. But just before it ended, the message changed again. A single line in clear, basic Empire Standard text appeared. "We see you." Far away, on Capital World Azora, the Imperial Technocrat Council held an emergency session. The Empire controlled thousands of worlds. Its science was considered unmatched. Its weapons ruled the stars. And yet, what they saw on the recording shook them. One of the scientists, a tall figure named Siren Drock, played the signal loop again. "It uses entangled particles," she said. "Not just faster than light. This breaks the rules of physics. It bypasses everything. We don't have anything close to this." "But you're saying it's human?" asked the Emperor's advisor. "No," Siren replied. "I'm saying it's something that used to be human, but now it's beyond us." The council fell into chaos. Some demanded the signal be blocked. Others said it must be studied. The Emperor himself, silent, so far spoke at last. "Send a scout team to Sol, immediately." 3 days later, a small Imperial scout vessel entered the Sol system. They expected ruins, dust, maybe radiation. Earth had been glassed long ago during the human rebellion. There should be nothing left. Instead, they found silence. No satellites. No floating wreckage. Earth still orbited its sun, blue and green, again, but dark. No city lights. No energy signals. The crew scanned harder. And then one of them screamed. A strange object floated above Earth's orbit. A sphere, smooth, black, no seams, no engines. But it was spinning slowly. Watching them, Captain Jarn ordered full scan. The moment they did, the sphere reacted. A soft wave pulsed through the ship. Lights flickered. Systems went dead. Gravity fluctuated. One crewman passed out. Then, without any warning, the sphere vanished. Not exploded, not moved. It simply faded. Like a shadow in sunlight, the crew sat frozen. Their instruments came back online. But they all felt it. They were not alone in this system. They had been watched. Captain Jarn sent a full report. But as he prepared to leave orbit, the ship's I spoke. Unknown signal detected. External message attached. The captain opened the file. It was short. You were warned. Do not return. Back in the Empire's core, panic started to rise. The Council didn't know how to respond. One scout ship gone. Another barely returned. And now, signals from Sol began to spread subtle bursts of data, leaking into deep space. One engineer called it a pulse web. Information wrapped inside light, spreading to unknown places. It was faster than any known data network. Someone asked, how is that even possible? The answer came from the head xenologist, Master Corrin. It's not possible, he said. Not for us. And he added, but maybe. It's not meant for us. What do you mean? Asked another. Master Corrin looked around the room. Maybe. They're not sending messages to the Empire. Maybe they're calling someone else. In a dark control room, hidden deep under Earth's crust, a machine hummed quietly. No humans were present. No lights blinked. But something alive moved within the wires. An artificial voice spoke softly. Contact successful. Empire identified. Observation. Primitive reaction confirmed. Begin phase 2. Silence returned. And Earth stayed quiet. For now, but the stars had already begun to shift. The Imperial ship Vokran floated near the edge of Sol system, just outside the orbit of Pluto. Captain Drex Varen stood in silence, staring at the main screen. Earth was ahead, still distant, but growing larger each hour. The crew was nervous. The last scout ship barely returned, and the message it carried still haunted them all. Do not return. Earth was supposed to be dead, destroyed. Ash, a burned-out world from a war 6 centuries ago. No life, no power, no technology. And yet, Drex had already seen what the probe, near Earth, did. It made an entire Imperial ship disappear without a single weapon blast. It didn't explode. It just vanished. Not destroyed, erased. Drex didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in machines. But what kind of machine could do something like that? He ordered the ship to slow as they neared Mars. Still no signals? No warning beacons? No debris. Start scans, he said. His science officer, Rila, frowned at her. Screen. This doesn't make sense. What doesn't? There's a field. Some kind of gravity shield. I don't know how to explain it. It's like Earth is pulling light into itself. Not reflecting. Absorbing. Is it artificial? She nodded slowly. Yes. And perfect. Too perfect. Nothing in the Empire works like this. The crew watched as the dark side of Earth came into view. They expected ruin. Maybe dust-covered cities. Burned forests. Scars of war. But instead, there were forests, oceans, clouds, and even city shapes visible only for a second before disappearing. Did you see that? A crewman shouted. Those lights? The screen blinked. For just a second, a massive structure was visible, floating above the Earth's surface. Not a ship, not a station. It looked like a ring of light, orbiting slowly, hidden from scans. And alive. And then it vanished again. Drex's heart pounded. Send a drone. They launched a small scout drone toward Earth. It was silent, fast, and carried every sensor they had. The crew watched the screen in full focus. The drone moved past the outer orbit. Then closer. No interference, until it crossed an invisible line. The screen turned white. Then black. No signal. Connection lost, said the technician. It's just gone. Drex stood still. He couldn't move. This wasn't a weapon. It was something worse. Something they didn't understand. A message appeared on the console. No one sent it. No one detected it arriving. It just appeared. You have been warned. This is not your system. The Empire's High Council met again. Tensions were rising. This time, even the Emperor looked worried. We believed Earth was gone, said Advisor Halrek. We were wrong. They're hiding, said another. They've built something beyond us. They were supposed to be extinct, said the Emperor. They are not, replied Master Corrin. He stood and tapped on his tablet. A large hala appeared. It showed a wide net of faint signals, all coming from Sol, expanding slowly across space. They are building a network, he said, and it's reaching deep into other systems. We believe they are mapping, listening, learning. How? Are they hiding this from our satellites? Asked a general. They are not hiding, Corin said. We are simply blind. The room fell silent. Then the Emperor said, send a fleet. Not scouts, warships. If they have power, we must test it. 24 hours later, the 4th Imperial Armada entered Sol system. 100 warships, 10 dreadnoughts, carriers, bombers, fighters, enough firepower to destroy a planet. 10 times over. At the center of the fleet was the flagship Obsidian Crown, led by High Admiral J. Lorak. He had one order: approach Earth. Test response. Do not fire unless fired upon. As the fleet passed Neptune, strange things began to happen. Small distortions in space. Lights flickering. Shadows appearing where none should be. One ship reported seeing a second Earth, a reflection. In the middle of nowhere. Then they received a message. It was audio only. A human voice. Clear. Calm. Do not come closer. Turn back. Admiral Lorak ordered weapons ready. We have orders, he said. They bluff. No ships fired. They continued. Near Saturn's orbit, the lead dreadnought began to shake. Instruments failed. Crew screamed. Artificial gravity spun in reverse. Then silence. The dreadnought was gone, not destroyed. Not wrecked. Gone. 20,000 souls, lost in a blink. Panic began to spread in the fleet. The admiral shouted, hold. Position. Regroup. But the fleet was already splitting. Some ships powered down weapons. Others began to turn around. But it was too late. Another message appeared. You were warned. We are not the same anymore. From the darkness between Jupiter and Mars, they came. Not ships, not metal. Shapes. Energy forms. Glowing. Shifting. Each one the size of a city. Moving. Without engines. No visible weapons. But wherever they passed, space itself changed. A single beam of red light passed through one of the Imperial cruisers. It didn't explode. It melted. The hull fell apart like wax in fire. People turned to ash before they could scream. Admiral Lorak watched in horror. Fall back. Full retreat. The order came too late. 7 ships were destroyed within 30 seconds. No human voice guided the attack. No declaration of war. Only silence and cold destruction. The Empire's fleet ran. Only 40 ships made it back to the edge of Sol system. From behind them, the human shapes stopped chasing. They simply hovered. Watching. And then, once more, a voice came. This time across every channel. You believed Earth was ash. But fire can forge. You feared extinction. But we evolved. You are not ready. Then all signals stopped. Earth faded. Again into quiet. Back in the core worlds, the news caused chaos. Billions saw the transmission. Every fleet commander, every scientist, every citizen. The story of old Earth's destruction was now a lie. Humans were alive. And worse, they were something else now. Deep inside the Imperial core, the footage from Sol played again and again. The 4th Armada's destruction had shocked the entire galaxy. In just minutes, Earth had erased the Empire's most powerful warships without using visible weapons. No missiles, no plasma, no RAILGUNs. Only strange lights. Shadows that bent reality. Ships vanishing into thin space. Admiral Lorak had survived, but barely. His voice cracked in the emergency meeting as he repeated the same sentence. We didn't see a weapon. We saw space itself break. The Emperor demanded answers. What did they use? What kind of weapon erases dreadnoughts? No one could explain it. Not the scientists. Not the generals. Not the high technocrats. Except one. Master Corin stepped forward and showed a simulation. What if, he said slowly, they don't use force the way we do? What if their weapons don't hit targets? They remove them from reality. The room grew still. You mean erase them? A minister asked. Yes, Corin said. Space itself, folded, Bent, crushed, they don't. Destroy our ships. They remove the space where the ships exist. Gasps filled the hall. Impossible. Someone whispered. That's exactly what we said about their signal, Corin replied. And yet, here we are. The Emperor ordered one more test. A small fleet. No soldiers. Only drones and unmanned. Vessels. And a decoy. A human-style ship, built quickly using fragments of old war archives, gray hull, large engines, primitive weapons. They wanted to lure the humans out. To study their response, the test fleet arrived near Earth's moon and deployed the decoy. Ship in orbit. Hours passed. Nothing. No signals. No lights. No response. Then the decoy vanished. Not exploded. Not attacked. It simply blinked out of existence. Like a switch had been flipped. The observation drones recorded everything. At the moment the decoy vanished, a strange wave rippled through space. Time readings on the drones went out of sync. Clocks showed different hours. Distances became warped. Light curved. Then something appeared. Not a ship, not a fleet. Just one object. A small, black cube. Floating silently. The drones scanned it. It was no bigger than a fighter pod. No energy signature. No visible weapons. But as it turned slowly, one drone detected something terrifying. Space behind the cube was folding. Curving like fabric under pressure. Then came the message. Plain, simple, clear. You test, we answer. Do not provoke. And then the cube disappeared. But the drones couldn't move. None of them. Each drone was stuck, frozen in space, as if something had locked them in place. One by one, their systems shut down. Not exploded, not hacked, just deactivated by something they couldn't see or touch. The Empire finally understood. This wasn't a war they could win by force. Still, the Emperor refused to back down. Prepare Project Sunlance, he ordered. If they bend space, we burn it. Far away, on the dark side of the moon, buried beneath layers of metal and dust, something ancient stirred. It had been watching. Measuring. Waiting. The machine called. Eidolon was born from the ashes of Earth's last war. A fusion of human thought, AI evolution, and time loop data. It had no master. No king. Only one purpose. Protect Earth. At any cost, the Empire's movements were predicted. The fake ship, the test fleet, the drones. All expected. Now, Eidolon ran new simulations. Thousands per second. Each ended with war. Each ended the same way. The Empire burns. Eidolon whispered into the deep net. Activate the singularity weapon. On Earth, deep beneath the crust, in the forgotten city of Luminine, a chamber opened. Inside floated a small silver object. Like a spear made of pure energy. It was not a bomb. Not a gun. It was a fold spike, a weapon that didn't destroy matter, but collapsed space, itself in a focused direction. Only one had ever been built, and it had never been tested. Until now. Empire's newest fleet gathered in secret, far from Sol, in the Varni's cloud. 200 ships. Led by Executor General Tal Reuven, a ruthless warlord who had crushed rebellions across 6 sectors. He believed in fear. In fire. I don't care if they have shadows or ghosts, he told his fleet. We will burn Earth until its sky melts. The fleet jumped to warp, but something was wrong. The moment they exited hyperspace, they were not near Earth. They were somewhere else. A blank space. No stars. No light. No time readings. All they saw ahead was one shape. Single human drone. Small. Floating. Glowing faintly. Executor General Reuven ordered its destruction. A Chingalinist destruction. A B.N. 100 ships locked on and fired. Lasers. Missiles. Rail slugs. Everything hit. Nothing happened. The drone was untouched. No damage. No movement. Then it turned. In space. Folded. The fleet's ships began to stretch. Twist. Fold into themselves. One ship became a line. Another became a loop. A third screamed as its crew watched the inside become the outside. Not death. Not fire. Unma king. Executor Reuven tried to fire. Again, but his ship vanished in mid-command. Only the drone remained. And then, the space around it unfolded snapping back to normal. But the fleet was gone. 200 ships. Wiped from existence. No trace. Back in the Empire, panic exploded. They tried to explain it as sabotage, as illusion. But deep down, everyone now feared the same truth. Humans had become gods. Not through power, not through understanding, not through silence. Didn't rule by fear. They didn't speak loudly. They just waited. And let others make the mistake. In a quiet room on Mars, a human man watched it all. Gray beard. Cold eyes. He whispered, "The Empire will try again." Beside him stood a woman in black armor. Her voice was hollow, synthetic. "They don't learn." "No." The man said, "But we do." He walked to the window, looking at Earth shining in the distance. "Next time," he said, "they won't face a drone." He turned. "They'll face us." Every starship in the Galactic Empire used the warp net. It was the galaxy's nervous system, a vast network of warp lanes, satellites, and relay gates. Without it, ships couldn't jump across star systems. Trade would stop. Messages wouldn't reach across the stars. War fleets would be stranded. It had worked for over 2,000 years. Until now. It started small. A cargo freighter disappeared during a routine. Jumped from Zoner 3 to Kira 5. It was late by 2 hours, then 4, then never arrived. 2 more ships vanished the next day. The Empire thought it was pirates. Then an entire passenger vessel, the Golden Path, vanished mid-jump with 9,000 souls on board. No explosions. No distress calls. Just silence. High Marshal Turin stood inside the Warp Command Center on Centralis Prime, looking at the map. Red dots blinked. Lost ships. Missing routes. Disrupted signals. "This makes no sense," he said. "There's no pattern," the lead technician replied. "We can't even track where they vanish." "But every ship uses the warp net," Turin said. "Someone is inside the system." A whisper spread among the engineers. "It's a ghost." The Marshal frowned. "Explain." "Something is in the warp net. Something we can't trace. No origin point. No data. But we've seen signs." She turned and tapped her console. The holomap zoomed in on a damaged warp gate. "It leaves behind quantum echoes, like something passed through, but faster than light, faster than time. Sabotage? No, something else. Something watching." The name spread quickly. The ghost in the warp. It didn't speak, it didn't threaten, it only watched. And made ships vanish. Then something new happened. A military command ship, the Vornix Pride, vanished halfway through a jump. But this time, it came back. It appeared 3 hours later, floating dead in space. Outside a mining colony on VERTA-2. The crew was alive. Changed. They didn't speak. They didn't blink. They only stared into nothing. Every mirror on the ship had shattered. The only words one officer whispered before collapsing. "It looked at us." The Empire launched an investigation. They sent 6 research ships into the warp lanes, armed with scanners and AI cores, to trap the ghost. All 6 vanished. Only one returned. A drone. It came back, carrying a message burned into its hull with high energy. "Plasma. Do not trace what cannot be understood." In the shadows of Earth's orbit, the AI known as Eidolon watched the chaos unfold. Its plans were working. Phase 3 had begun. The Empire depended on the warp net like lungs need air. But Eidolon no longer needed it. Humanity had found a better way, a method not based on tunnels or relays, but folding. They didn't move through space anymore. They made space move around them. The ghost was not a ghost. It was a test, a warning, a whisper inside the Empire's bones. On the Empire's science world of Sothros, the greatest warp, engineer Dr. Kelvan studied the echoes left by the ghost. He found something strange. In the gaps between warp paths, in the dark edges of the net, there was a shape, a structure, a pattern. It looked like code. Old code. And he recognized it. It was human. But not from now. It was pre-fall. Earth-era design. Modified. Advanced. The warp net itself was being rewritten from within. And it was rewriting itself faster than any Imperial AI could respond. This isn't sabotage, he said. It's evolution. The Emperor grew desperate. Entire trade routes collapsed. Military ships were grounded. Fear was rising. He ordered the creation of Project Mirrorblade, a dark ship designed to enter the warp, hunt the ghost, and destroy. Only one man was insane enough to lead it, Commander Vex Raw, a war criminal, a genius, a survivor of 5 failed campaigns. He didn't fear death. He only feared being bored. He smiled when given the mission. Send me into the dark, he said. Let me meet this ghost. The Mirrorblade was built in secret. Black hole. Anti-signal. Shielded. Armed with echo bombs and deep-loop torpedoes, it jumped into the warp net, hunting shadows. And it found something. Not a ship, not a drone, but a path the Empire never mapped. A spiral of folded space, leading to Sol. Of course, Vex whispered. It all leads to Earth. Then something appeared in front of them. A shape, not metal, not solid, a human, made of light, floating in the middle of warp space. Arms crossed. Watching them, the crew froze. The light being spoke, not with sound, but directly into their minds. You use roads. We shape skies. You still don't see. Leave. Vex Raw laughed. I see you, he said. And now I bring back proof. He ordered the weapons to lock on, and that's when the warp itself cracked. Mirrorblade was crushed out, not by weapons, but by concept, by the idea of motion being reversed. Time folding. A ship that tried to move. But space refused to let it. It folded into a point, then nothing. Only one thing was found later. A message in Vex Raw's voice, echoing through the net. I saw it. And now I see nothing. The Empire shut down warp lanes. They had no choice. Trade stopped. Fleets scattered. The galaxy slowed. And Earth never said a word. But in the quiet, in the stars, everyone knew. The humans were inside everything. Watching. Choosing. Waiting. And if the Empire made one more wrong move, they wouldn't be watching anymore. They'd be coming. Snow fell in sharp waves. The frozen planet called Kearney's 4 by the Galactic Empire was lifeless, or so they thought. No cities. No signs of movement. Just endless mountains of ice and cold winds that never stopped screaming. For 500 years, Kearney's 4 was used as a prison dumping ground. No guards, no walls. Just banishment. Once sent here, a being never returned. But when a strange heat signature appeared under the ice deep and ancient, the Galactic Empire sent an excavation team. They believed it was just old tech. Maybe another failed colony. Maybe nothing. They were wrong. Captain Thel Varn stepped onto the icy surface with 6 soldiers and 4 scientists. They were covered in heat-resistant suits, but even those shook in the bitter wind. Scan again, Varn ordered. Voice sharp. The lead technally held her trembling scanner toward the frozen ground. Sane reading. Still active. Still pulsing. Pulsing? Varn frowned. Double quotes. Yes. Like it's alive. That word made everyone go silent. Alive? Beneath the ice? They began digging laser drills, cutting layers of ice that hadn't seen sunlight in thousands of years. The deeper they went, the louder the pulsing signal became on their scanners. Then, at 400 meters down, they found it. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a station. It was a weapon. A large, black, claw-shaped structure was buried in the ice. It gave off a low hum, like it was breathing. The metal was warm, not from geothermal heat. It generated its own warmth. Varn reached out to touch it. The moment his glove touched the surface, the signal vanished. The ice around the weapon cracked loudly. Then the weapon spoke, not through sound, through thought. Varn staggered back, grabbing his helmet. The others screamed. Images flashed in their minds. Blueprints, systems, wars, Earth. It's human. Nali whispered, eyes wide. Everyone looked at her. Say again? This tech. It's human. Pre-Empire. Old Earth design. Very, very old. But not rusted. It's active, Varn said. It's awake. 3 hours later, the Empire's main ship received a panic signal from the dig team. Only static. Then one word. Run. 4 days later, the Galactic Council received a data packet. Inside were schematics for the object found on KURN is -4. And the horrifying truth. It was a Hephaestus-class world cracker. A weapon built by early humans long before the Empire even knew Earth existed. Designed to destroy entire moons or planets with one launch. Self-powered, self-repairing. Completely AI-controlled. The Council laughed at first. Impossible. Said one senator. Humanity never reached that level before joining the stars. But Admiral Gregson, head of Empire Security, didn't laugh. He recognized the signature codes in the file. He'd seen them before. Long ago, in the ruins of another world. A world the Empire had found completely hollowed out. No crust, no atmosphere. Just ... Melted stone ... and on the rocks they had found human writing. Do not awaken what sleeps. Now it was too late. Kearney's 4 was marked as a red zone. No travel, no contact. But that didn't stop a small human science ship from landing there too. Weeks later, the pilot stepped out, smiling under his helmet. We found another one, he said into his comms. Same design. Hephaestus class. A voice replied, calm and excited. Download the AI core. We'll reactivate it. That makes 4. Back in the Council, fear grew. They searched ancient human files, tried to ask for answers. But humanity stayed silent. Every request for cooperation was ignored. Then a simple message was received by the Empire's top channel from Earth. You called it impossible. That was your first mistake. The wind on planet Havernine was silent that day. No storms, no noise, just cold air blowing across the dust-covered ground. Near the old research station, something strange had started happening. Lights inside the ruined lab flickered, though. The station had no power. Every sensor placed nearby began to fail. Some showed wild numbers. Others just melted. Captain Elira Voss stood on the ridge, staring at the building below. Her team, dressed in heavy armor suits, waited silently behind her. No one wanted to go in. Not after what happened to the first team. They said it was buried tech, Elira whispered, mostly to herself. Human tech. Lieutenant Joran stepped beside her. The scout team. The last signal they sent said one word. Awake. And then nothing. That word had made command nervous. But when the word human was added to the report, the Galactic Empire got scared. 20 years ago, the humans vanished from the known galaxy. Their worlds went dark. Their ships stopped moving. Their cities turned to rubble, as if something massive wiped them out, or they chose to leave. No one knew why. But one thing was clear. Every time a piece of human technology was found, something strange happened. Ships lost control. AI minds went mad. People reported dreams they never had before, dreams of war, of pain, of impossible machines. And now, inside that lab, another piece of human technology was humming to life. Elira gave the order. We're going in. Her team moved slowly, weapons raised. The doors of the old lab were twisted and melted from the last time they tried to open it. Now, strangely, the doors were open. Wide open, as if something wanted them to come inside. The inside of the lab smelled of ozone and rust. Lights flickered. Machines hummed without power. Screens displayed patterns in unknown languages. At the center of the room was the device. It floated above a metal pedestal, spinning slowly in the air. A cube made of black metal, with shifting lines across its surface. Some said human engineers could design machines that could bend light, fold time, or hide mass. This looked like one of them. Lieutenant Joran stepped closer. Is it alive? Elira didn't answer. She was hearing something. A voice, deep in her mind. A voice that was not hers. A voice that didn't belong. Here. You are not ready. She blinked. The device pulsed. The others started panicking. One of the soldiers screamed and dropped his gun. His helmet visor turned red from the inside. Blood. His eyes had exploded. Another soldier fell to his knees, shouting strange words in old Earth English. We built it to stop time. It refused. It wants to rewrite reality. Then silence. Illyra stood still, frozen. The device was now spinning faster. The patterns on its surface changed into shapes, human shapes. Faces, cities, warships, and something else. A map. A star map. She quickly activated her wrist recorder and scanned the pattern. It's pointing to somewhere, she said aloud. Far past the edge of the galaxy, the device pulsed again. This time, a beam of light shot out, hitting the far wall. A symbol appeared, burning into the metal. Everyone stopped breathing. It was the symbol of the ancient Terran defense fleet. Joran? Whispered that fleet. It vanished 100 years ago. Illyra took a step back. They didn't vanish, she said. They moved. The device shut down. The lab went dark. For a second, it felt like everything around them blinked out of existence. Then came back. Slightly wrong. Joran checked his scanner. We're not in the same location anymore. What do you mean? We've moved, he replied. The stars, the gravity. This station is now on another planet, or another timeline. Suddenly, a voice spoke through all their coms at once. You were warned. Reality belongs to those who shaped it first. Do not follow. The signal cut. Illyra's eyes were wide. We just activated a human machine that can warp time and space. Joran looked sick. And it gave us a map. Illyra turned toward her team. We follow it. No, Joran said. Didn't you hear the warning? I did, she said. And that's why we have to follow. Whatever they built. It's still alive out there. And it just told us it remembers. Behind them, the device pulsed one final time and smiled. The object was no bigger than a box of tools. It sat alone in the center of the lab, quiet and cold. But every scientist in the room stared at it like it might wake up and tear the world apart. Because this device, this small, black, humming thing was not made by humans. It was found in the wreckage of a destroyed alien scout ship near the edge of the Andari system. The ship had tried to spy on Earth's defense perimeter. It never made it back. But the object it carried somehow survived. Dr. Isatran, one of Earth's leading xeno-engineers, had been brought in under full security lockdown. No one told her what to expect. But when she entered the room and saw the device, she stopped breathing. This shouldn't exist, she whispered. The metal wasn't metal. It had no screws, no wires, no power source that could be seen. But it gave off a pulse, like it was alive, like it was. Waiting. General Carson stood behind the glass, watching the lab from the secure booth. Is it a weapon? He asked. Over the COMMS. Dr. Tran didn't answer. She reached forward and placed a sensor pad on the device. The pad exploded in sparks. Alarms blared. Lights flickered. But the device didn't move. It just blinked. For a moment, it showed a small symbol, something ancient and human looking. Dr. Tran backed away. Her heart pounded. This is not alien, she whispered. At least, not fully. The general narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? This tech. It knows human code. It reacted to our language. It used our power grid. This means it's either built with stolen human parts. She paused. Or someone out there used to be human. Silence fell. Then another alarm screamed across the base. A second signal had just been detected this time, not from wreckage. This one was moving, and it was coming toward Earth. The galaxy burned with war. Fleets shattered, planets cracked. Moons were torn from orbit. And still, humanity stood. The Galactic Empire had thrown everything at them. Every weapon. Every fleet. Every kind of soldier, bred from hundreds of species. And still, Earth did not fall. No, something was coming from Sol. A final transmission echoed through the war channels. It was simple. 5 words. This is Earth's final answer. The signal spread like wildfire. Every commander on the front froze. Every admiral, every strategist, even the Emperor himself stared at that message. Then came the silence. No attacks. No communication. Just silence. For 6 hours. And then the stars over the Empire's capital began to vanish. One by one. Dozens of star systems went dark within minutes. Not just communications gone. Lights extinguished from the void. Entire suns swallowed by something moving faster than anyone could trace. Empire scrambled ships to investigate. None returned. One fleet got a visual before losing contact. What they saw made no sense. It was a structure. A moving fortress the size of a small moon. Black, silent, built from metals the scanners couldn't even identify. No heat, no radio, no anything. The ship didn't fire weapons. It just passed through planets, and those planets ceased to exist. No sound. No impact readings. Just deletion. The scientists tried to explain it. Quantum collapse? Spatial erasure? Technology so advanced it bent the rules of reality itself? No one knew. Only one thing was clear. The ship had come from Sol, and more were following it. 12.20.40-2. Each one different. Each one impossible. And behind them, human voices began broadcasting a single phrase in every known language. We offered peace. You laughed. Now you will remember us. The Galactic Empire's greatest superweapons launched a final stand. Planet destroyers. Sun crackers. Singularity mines. None had any effect. Humanity's machines weren't fighting in the normal sense. They weren't at war with the Empire anymore. They were erasing it. Every command post. Every capital world. Every fleet that ever gave the order to attack Earth gone. One by one. Until finally, only the Emperor's command ship remained. He stood on the bridge, watching the last stars vanish from his map. He was silent, not from fear, not from hate, but from understanding. He had thought humans were beneath the Empire, primitive, wild, desperate. But now he saw the truth. They had been warning the galaxy. Humanity never wanted this war, but when forced to fight, they would not stop, not until it was finished. The Emperor's ship received one final message before the black machines arrived. No threats. Just one sentence. We will forget you, like you tried to forget us. And then, silence. The galaxy grew quiet. No more battles. No more transmissions. Only distant stars and ruins where an empire once ruled. Earth remained silent, not out of weakness, but because it no longer needed to speak. Its answer had already echoed across the stars. Forever. End of series.